Are underway with the picks and bans here. I'll get my mouse off the screen for you. We do have Millennium on the blue side and CNB going to be on the red side. We have Kassadin, Ziggs, and Kale taken away. And over on the other side, we have Annie and Vine.
We'll get rid of every mid laner. That is a viable strategy. That way you force the enemy to pick Brand.
Did you say viable on purpose?
I didn't. But I am not one to turn away a free joke, even if it is terrible. Regardless, though, picks and bans actually coming out pretty quick, so you know, we've got a few things here. Well,
we heard Saint talking earlier on in the first best of three. He was talking about Rengar, how we could see that come out because every champion is available right now. He did get nerfed a little bit, but he's not bad in the top lane if you do.
Is he?
I'm assuming not if he's enabled. I can't confirm that. But we do have the Elise already locked in from Millennium here for Kevin at the moment.
Okay, well, that's obviously a very, very strong pick. Elise is just incredibly good at snowballing a whole game. I'm pretty sure CNB's picks they're hovering over aren't legit unless they are planning on the legendary Riot versus Pros full support team. Not that Thresh was released back in the day, but it could happen. Thresh it could.
I won't say no. I won't say no when things like that can happen. But they do have about 5 seconds left here. They need to be able to switch this up, and it looks like we will have Thresh, we will have Gragas locked in here, and Araneae, I don't know if he's going to get any cheers here in Brazil for that kind of thing. And we haven't heard any cheers for Mordekaiser yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not cheering for Mordekaiser, who knows what they'd cheer for. Oh, hello, Zilean. Okay, that's a really interesting pick, and I think it will work very well against Thresh. But one of the things people don't know about Zilean, he has 600 auto attack range, and the bombs are brutal from range.
And also, the ultimate coming in. I mean, like, it's just like a K ultimate except it revives you, and if they pick a Zed into that, I'm a little bit worried because that would either mean Gragas is in the jungle or Zed's in the jungle, but you can't really burst someone down his Zed because you can be able to stop it with a Zilean.
Yeah, maybe they'd be assuming it was a Zilean mid against Gragas. I don't know which way that would go, actually, to be honest, because both of them would clear waves so incredibly safely, but I think it will be a Zilean support. That tends to be the way we've been seeing him recently. And like I said, Thresh's short auto attack range and his propensity to want to go towards you in order to use his skills actually means he gets punished really, really hard by that. And they took away Kaylin at the same time, who is a major counter to a Zilean support.
All right, well, we do actually have Cho'Gath. When was the last time we've seen Cho'Gath picked in here, and what lane would that be in? It obviously can work in the top lane. It can work in the jungle as well. Unfortunately for them, they don't have Yasuo able to be picked up with that, but what's your thoughts on that? What do you think?
Okay, so Cho'Gath in the top lane has a lot of incredible strengths. He is so sustained. His early damage is pretty high. If he builds AP, his damage just is ridiculous all the way through the game. But if he doesn't build damage, he falls off. If he does build damage, he becomes incredibly difficult to land your damage in the super late game. Jungle Cho'Gath can work a lot better because it's not as important to get a huge damage threat. He can just use his huge amounts of CC. Feral Scream is like a 3-second silence in an AoE, by the way. Ridiculous. And just be more of a utility jungle for his team, making the ganks happen across the map.
And also you have to keep in mind that buff control, or objective control with him. That's 1,000 true damage.
And that's much stronger nowadays.
Yeah, so I mean, you pair that in with your smite, I mean, you pretty much should be able to lock down any objective that you want to. Whether or not you get to the opportunity to be able to do that is a different story, but we do see Fizz and Renekton locked in here for Millennium, so we know what the lanes are going to be. How do you think about those two picks, though?
Likely means, I mean, it means obviously Millennium's lanes fall much as we were expecting. Zilean support, Elise jungle, you're going to get Fizz versus Gragas probably in the mid lane. Cho'Gath, though, versus Renekton is a matchup where I think Cho'Gath could actually do okay. He would be able to sustain through Renekton, and I'm not going to say he would outscale him, but he would serve a different function in the late game. He'd have a lot more CC, even if he wasn't as much of a threat.
Yeah, one thing that's always worried me about a Cho'Gath top lane is the fact that his escapes are pretty crap.
You land Rupture or you die.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't land a Rupture and you're against an Elise, which you're not really going to be able to land, you're dead. And I want to assume that's going to be in the jungle, but we still see CNB, they're hovering over their last pick here, and
could be anything.
It definitely could be, and I want to see what they lock in, and it looks like they're going to go for a Shen.
Okay, so Shen versus Renekton is a matchup that can work for Shen, but he needs to not fall behind too much early or he will constantly be pushed up to his tower. He'll never be able to teleport very usefully. If he can get ahead, though, he outscales Renekton, he will push him back. But it takes a long time for that outscaling to happen. And the other thing about doing that is that it means you have a very passive lane. You can't support against invading, against ganking. It means that Araneae on Elise is going to be free to do whatever he wants in that top jungle.
And one thing that I'm looking at also between these two teams is we get, potentially in those team fights is the fact that if you can kill someone before Cho'Gath uses his feast, assuming, or not kill them, but you get Zilean's ult on that person, then you kill them, then you're not going to escape a rupture. Like, I can pretty much guarantee that Dana's not going to miss a rupture on that when the target, you know when they're going to respawn, you know when they're going to be there. You can knock them up, they're not going to be able to escape, and that kill potential of that team can be very high, but I don't know, Cho'Gath jungle, like I said, don't really see it too often. I want to see how both these teams really work with this, because the winner of this will go on to play against 7 Wars in the semifinal, and in the top half of the bracket, and then potentially onto the finals, where who knows who they'll be taking on.
And 7 Wars looked good. They really did look good last game, but if you're going to run a Cho'Gath jungle, you have to be very confident that it's going to serve some function that no other character could perform. And I mean, it does serve a very important function in that it is a fantastic skin. Other than that,
you're just saying that because you're British.
Well, yes, obviously.
I think the other skin, what is it called?
Battlecast Prime.
Battlecast Prime Cho'Gath. That is.
I will give you the particle effects are really nice though.
When they released the sound pack for that, I got chills in the office because it just sounded so awesome. Just saying.
It's not that good. It's good.
Agree to disagree, but no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, we are going to get underway here in just a second. Both these teams have finished loading in, and we're going to see Jree on that Zilean support here. But level 1, what do you think between these two teams? Because there's a lot of control on CNB's side. There's a lot of damage on Millennium's side.
Well, I think that Millennium most likely will play it defensively. They know that they can punish someone invading quite hard. Obviously, they can just stun them, follow up with their decent amount of burst that they do have. But CNB, with their crowd control, with Rupture at level 1, with Death Sentence, they'd almost be foolish not to go for an invade. The problem is, of course, against a very defensive, like, span-out situation, if you do that, you are potentially asking for a collapse upon you.
This is one thing you have to keep in mind, is that throughout the games today, we've hardly seen any invades, any level 1 action. We saw 1 kill just in that best of 3 prior on in that top tri-bush up here. But that's about it. Brazilian teams seem to have been really just, not really aggressive. They've just been really kind of passive in the early stages of the game to me.
Yeah, I think mostly they like to kind of play the farming style, build up some items, and then potentially look for a fight. But the thing is, if you end up falling behind a little bit against, a composition like Millennium's, because of, say, Araneae pushing around Cho'Gath, making him suffer, losing buffs, getting behind, you're going to have so much difficulty dealing with how fast they can rotate, how fast they can pick individuals off.
All right, well, this game is getting underway. We're approaching the buff spawn timers here, and I really want to see what Dana does actually level up. I've seen a couple of different builds in the jungle. I use personally a couple of different builds as well, but it's going to be really crucial. I think that's going to be, like you're saying before, like, if you're going to pick a Cho'Gath jungle, you better be damn confident in it. You better know how to use it, and you better know how to use it well, because if you don't, it's such a wasted pick with so many other jungles out there that you can possibly go for these days. But we're going to have him start at red. We're going to have Araneae start at his red buff as well. I kind of find it funny that Araneae's playing a spider, but also a little bit of a tidbit here. I was told to point this out, is that Araneae actually, his mouse, he's not feeling lucky with it anymore. In the 7 games they played so far, 5 of them he used it, and they lost those 5. The 2 that they won, he used someone else's mouse. So he's actually using someone over here, ESL TV's mouse, and I really want to see if he does pay off. Just pointing that out there.
I wouldn't say it's unlikely. They're definitely going in as favorites, but then I'm not sure if it's luck. So, lucky mice and things can genuinely affect people's psyche. I did a psychology degree, I know this, but it's not really going to affect really experienced players, and you kind of wonder whether he's just kind of playing it out.
Well, we'll see as the time goes on, and obviously Kerp does use that trackball mouse, and I've always wondered, if he breaks that, will he be able to find another one out there to actually buy? And I guess we'll come into that when that time does happen, but either way, he's been doing a fantastic job adapting here into middle lane. I'll give him credit on that one. But in the meantime, Kevin being very aggressive here top lane, pushing Leko back quite far, and Araneae, he's going for a gank or a little bit of counter jungling here, but he has been spotted out by that ward.
It's actually a fun fact about Kerp. He was originally a mid laner. He made the switch after he, I believe, qualified with went with that team.
And right now, Dana, he has been spotted coming bottom. We see the flash in and the play backwards. They get the hook on a Creaton. They get the damage. He's going to drop here, and that's going to be first blood going over to manajj. Over CNB. You can hear the crowd. Fantastic job by Alocs right there. And that is the synergy that we're talking about with that bottom lane being longtime team members for forever, pretty much, with VTI. And they get that first blood.
Talk about the tip of the hook, though. I was so confident that wasn't going to hit that it just made me cry out as if in pain. Like, that was ridiculous. But that being said, Caitlyn is always going to be able to farm safely, but now that they're behind in that lane, the early pressure, the harass that comes out of a Zilean support is going to not be that significant. Doran's shield means he's going to be able to sustain through that with that advantage. That means it's harder to make ganks happen.
Oh, Zayna, that was so well done by him right there, catching Araneae in his own jungle. Does spot him out, and that does force him to be stuck in the bottom side of the map here. I wonder if he's going to go for some counter-drilling himself or what, but he's only level 3 at the moment. And let's take a look at CS currently across the board. We have Kevin, 24-20 in the top lane. Kerp, 26-25 in the middle lane. Great job, I have to say, by takeshi right there on Gragas. Bottom lane, 25-26, so even with that first blood, they haven't really been able to capitalize off of it just yet.
Yeah, I am actually thinking, if you getting first blood in that situation should probably open up a few more options right now, but they're not actually building a massive advantage, as you say, and the farm differences may actually start to show up. Kerp!
Oh, Kerp, I don't know. He goes down middle. That's another kill going in. That's the one that I missed. That's 2, at least, for the entire day. Hopefully it won't be any more than that. But he does go down middle to takeshi right there. Fantastic job. And that is CNB getting a nice early lead here. And Millennium, they said they prepared for this, but they're not looking too strong just yet.
It's true, and we mentioned it before, how much I mean, they're chanting right now. The crowd would love Millennium to go down. They would adore that result. And at the moment, it's looking good.
Yeah, they do have that kill on a takeshi. They do have that kill on to manajj, and that's 2 people you want to see get really farmed early on. And as well as Leko top lane, he hasn't really having that tough of a time. He's currently leading CS. He hasn't backed, obviously, but he's been keeping up, and that's kind of the key point, is that no one on CNB is really falling behind at this point.
Yeah, falling behind, I think, in the mid lane is going to be a big problem for Millennium, because Beers versus Gragas, assuming he can, you know, at least threaten to burst him down, is going to be a lane that's roughly even. It's going to be easy for Kerp to essentially try and zone him out a bit. But if he falls behind, if Gragas gets confident enough to just keep shoving him into tower, Kerp will suffer tremendously, because it's very hard to last hit under tower with Fizz.
It is, and here we go. We have Dana coming from the side. They're looking for the damage on the Kerp. They get the ult back into the own turret here. They actually turn this around with Araneae from the side. They get the cocoon! takeshi gets so low, he's actually running away. The nice rupture gets guarded. Araneae caught right there, and they're not going to chase him down. He's going to survive with a sliver of health. And Dana, that rupture just single-handedly saved his life right there. And he's not done just yet. He's looking for a little bit of farm, but you can see the damage Araneae is already able to do.
And Millennium there were dancing on the edge of the tower range. They judged it perfectly and were able to get quite a lot done.
Now the hook does land on a Jree right there, but they're not going to go off of that. Not really feeling their chances too well, and Jree will be level 6, about half a level, 75% to go for him. And that's when things become really interesting. And we also can't forget about the speed buff that Zilean does give you. That really goes underestimated sometimes, but to run away from a rupture or to chase someone down, it's such a huge gap closer.
Yeah, at the early stages of the game, it's an enormous influence in terms of just giving you that speed boost. Late game, though, it's actually got 100% up, over 100% uptime. You can permanently make someone, I think it's what, 60% faster? It's a huge amount anyway.
A lot of percent.
You get all of the percentages and you put them in one place, and that's Zilean's speed buff. Or you can slow someone down. For instance, a Shen ranged CC song.
We saw Araneae actually put a ward in the enemy blue buff a little bit ago. He's actually trying to see where Dana started, and he found out that, hey, my red buff's up. His blue's not going to be starting at red, so now he's going to go for the contestant here, I think, in a little bit. He has at level 6 here, and then we're in the bottom lane. We do see Creaton getting very low yet again here, and it looks like he might go down Alocs. He's going to get one more auto attack, and he gets the kill with the help of that ward. And now Jree's in trouble here. He puts with the bomb on the manajj, which is not enough. They engage pre-level 6, and they get it. And then in the meantime, we see Araneae. Well, we don't see Araneae, but they get a kill on a takeshi. So finally, Millennium able to pick up a kill, but for how long? The rush is going to land the silence as well. He has Raiba. He has the smoke, and Araneae survive. He lands the Cocoon. And that might be enough for him to escape. He's going to keep running. Hey, Dana, he's not going to hit the rupture, but where can Araneae come down from? He's just going to drop the exact same spot, but with Kerp there, Dana doesn't feel like he can really pull that one off, and he's going to back away. Either way, a 1-for-1 trade in the end. Millennium finally get on the board here, and they're not really down that much gold either.
But it's worth noting that the famed AD carry of Creaton is doing remarkably poorly in this bottom lane. He's falling
remarkably
behind.
Poorly.
I don't see anything wrong with that turn of phrase. You Americans are uncultured, etc., etc. But with him falling behind early on Caitlyn, it's gonna be a long time before he's hugely relevant, and it gives a lot of options to CNB, especially around Dragon fights.
Well, Dragon, that's one thing we have yet to see be taken so far. Looks like Dana just gonna get that blue buff ready over for takeshi in middle. And he has it at level 6. He just uses Nom, which I'm not sure if I would agree with, to be honest, because he's not gonna get a free stack off of that. He already has one from a kill earlier on. But we'll donate that blue buff over.
Well, I think what you tend to see on a lot of the better Cho'Gath players out there is they're not too concerned about feast stacks. They'll build a bit of CDR so they can get it if they're farming the jungle, but they're not going to be at all hesitant about using feast and not getting a kill. They'll just use it at the start of a fight as a damage nuke, and doing that is really crucially important.
Oh, Kerp gets knocked off. He doesn't get, actually he does technically still get silenced. They're going for him here, and he actually turns it around right on takeshi, but he's all by himself. He's trying to stall time. Araneae is coming down from middle. Kerp is getting, he flashes another rupture! What a guess on a Dana! And he does get away, but wow, he just pretty much showed them that, guys, you have to respect this Cho'Gath, and he was able to push them out right there. Respect
the Cho'Gath, but on the flip side, respect Kerp. He did not do the obvious thing there. He did not try and retreat to his jungle. He just jumped away, delayed the inevitable by doing a lot of damage to Takeshi there, and essentially knocking him up as well using his ultimate. And as a result, he got out with, what, half health left.
Alright, he's waiting. I think he saw the ward put down, but he's just going to back away. And I want to say that CNB has spotted him out in the meantime. And talking about bottom lane and Creaton, he's not faring too well in this game. Doing remarkably not good. But
remarkably
he's
poorly.
Poorly.
Repeat after me.
He's 0-2, but he's still not that far behind in CS either way.
Yeah, that is one thing he's definitely doing well, and that is actually something that I like to think of as a mark of a really good AD carry, is they can fall behind early and still somehow keep up on farm, even though, you know, he's being zoned out right now. How is he going to get up on that farm if some of the minions are dying when he's not even there? By just doing it really well.
And you're seeing them be kind of zoned over towards the bottom side of this map, even though the wave is pushing up against them. Kerp, he's coming back. That
was the reason in the first place. He's got memory.
Once round 2 on that pink ward, able to take it down himself, and even Dana was there waiting on the sidelines to maybe turn it around if need be. Araneae going to return back to his jungle here, and you know, we're about 12 minutes into this game. So we do see Dana heading down. I actually want to take a look at items in just a little bit, but I think Dana, he might actually go in for something here. There's not going to be a ward to spot him, and if we see that hook land, that's most likely going to be a kill.
Yeah, either one can chain into either. Rupture can lead into Death Sentence can lead into Rupture. And the thing about Rupture and Death Sentence is they both benefit massively from not having the animation that starts it being seen. Cho'Gath's Rupture, you've got to react really quickly to dodge that if you don't see his foot stop.
And I think manajj might have just given it away because he kind of ran into that trap on purpose, obviously to make it so Dana could just walk in here, but he's waiting for Araneae potentially, and Araneae actually will be spotted out right here, so they're actually going to know he's there. They could potentially go for the gank. We hear the gank actually goes off, they land the hook, but he misses the play, and the gank unfortunately fails. I really wonder what would have happened a little bit differently if he did land the play. On top of that, in the meantime, we saw Araneae head towards the top side. Now he's actually heading back towards the middle. He's not spotted by a ward right now, and they might be able to pick up the skill to takeshi if he does extend just a little bit too far.
They are very good divers. Both of them can break aggro, and both of them can go for it. Not going to. If they had landed that stun, they could have easily dived him because they can break the aggro of the tower. Both of them either repel or with Playful Trickster, and because they knew Cho'Gath wouldn't be there to counter.
And you see takeshi is forced to just back away as Araneae has been committing a lot of time there. Even Kevin trying to control the red buff away from Dana right here, and you does see that ward put down, but he's been able to hold him off it nonetheless. And you see the rest of them head down from middle. They're going to be going for this move up here. takeshi could potentially steal it away if they did have a ward to spot it out, but it's going to be pulled back into that bush. That's going to make it very difficult. Rupture does go in, though. He does spot, the barrel comes in, but it actually gets taken. Takeshi gets it with just a Q. And that does stop the invade that came out of Millennium.
And it's a funny thing because that was a bluff by CNB, a fight bot.
Oh no, Jree! He's gonna pop right. Oh, he flashes over the wall. He actually doesn't get caught. That was so well done by him. That almost certainly would have been his death. I'm looking for him. He still had that flash available. And still, CNB, they're showing the power, the dominance of their bottom lane. They're able to get the kills on a Creaton and a Jree, or at least force them to use that ultimate out of Zillion. And they are doing such great work here.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that point I was going to say. It was basically a bluff that CNB tried to contest the red buff. The reason Millennium didn't engage, even though Shen was in his base, they didn't know he had gone. And as a result, they weren't that confident about diving too deep. And that actually was what enabled CNB to get in range to even try and steal away the buff.
Speaking of Shen, Leko has not ulted once this game, nor has he really needed to, minus the one death that did happen to the team. I don't think he even had it available then, but he is just trying to farm up top lane. He's about 20 CS behind currently, but Dragon, that's something we really haven't talked about too much. It hasn't been contested from either of his teams. But in the meantime, just as I say that, CNB, they're heading down. They have Shen to teleport in if they need to with that ultimate, and they have that 1,000 true damage coming out of Dana.
Yeah, Shen is going to try and keep Renekton from pushing up too far. If he can hold him at least a decent distance away from his tower, then he won't suffer too much if he is forced to teleport. As it happens, though, nothing doing. The Dragon goes down, and does look like there might be a little bit of a fight in top.
Yeah, Kevin just getting taunted under turret right there, and as Dean would say, she's two greased up fat lads from Grimsby. I remember the whole term this time. I'm probably happy with myself, but they're not really going to be able to
I'm not sure you should be.
What? Either way, I'm proud of myself. I'm American. But I'm just going to push them out. I mean, they're not really working each other.
Failing to see how that's a good thing.
You don't need to. But Kevin, I mean, he's got the Sunfire Cape done. Leko has the Sunfire Cape done as well. So they're both just not really going to be pushed out of lane either way without interaction from anyone else. And speaking of that, Millennium do go for a push. They do force him out of range of the turret. It actually will drop to that mini wave. And the first turret of the game finally going down here to Millennium. In the meantime, we're seeing response out of CNB. They're going for a push on this middle turret. They're not going to get it down just yet. They still let their presence be known, and they weren't able to get the Dragon, so they still have that 1,000 gold lead. Yeah,
they've got the gold lead, but the fact that top lane now has gone down means Shen is going to take a long time to get anything done. Renekton, he can now roam, he can now make plays across the map, and it's going to take Shen a long time to be able to do anything against that.
Oh, and Araneae actually turns right back to takeshi. Kerp flash through the wall. They land the ultimate. Shen coming in as well. The ultimate actually knocks Araneae away. Now Kerp's in trouble. He gets taunted up. He's going to fall here, but not before getting the kill on takeshi. And now Araneae is being forced to run away. Dana not going to hit the rupture. Kevin with the ultimate pump. He's actually, no, he's trying to get the kill with the ignite, and now Leko's in trouble. Trying to run away against a two-man team from Millennium, and with how tanky he is, it looks like he will escape. But just like that, Millennium trade 1 for 2, and that's what they needed, because now the gold lead is down under 1,000 gold, and they're starting to catch up.
But that communication and awareness by Millennium and Kerp specifically, jumping over the wall, setting up that fight, you could see CNB thought they caught someone, and they could really go in on that. But as it happens, the fact that Renekton is a bigger threat than Shen right now also means they will come out on top if they can force the ultimate out of Shen. And even if they can't, he's free to roam, help with sieges. He will do that a lot.
I mean, he's just so fast with that Sunfire Cape, clear the way very quickly, then do the roaming just like you're talking about. And we saw right there just how well it worked out for them. Got them to 2 kills and helped keep them in this game. And right now, since we have a little bit of a break, it seems 17 minutes in, let's take a little bit of items that have been built up across the board. Leko has Sunfire Cape done like we've been mentioning. Also has another Giant's Belt done behind that, and Kevin actually has that Spectral's Cow going in towards a Spirit Massage really soon. And Kerp, he's not seeing that much gold because since he actually went for the Home Guard boots, but all he has is a Sheen right now.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do much against Takeshi either. It's just not an easy thing to burst down. Braggers, disengage, disengage, and some damage reduction to boot. So he's not going to look to do that. He might be able to zone him out now, though. He has got a decent bit of damage, but he needs the Lich Bane until he becomes a huge threat.
Leko getting caught. The ultimate out of Gragas, unfortunately missing on a Kerp who just ran straight at him instead. He's going to be forced to taunt away here, but will he actually escape? He actually uses the flash. The ultimate out of Fizz, it lands. Leko's in trouble. He's going to go down here, I want to assume momentarily, but the body slam, it might have been enough. It kept them off him. We see Kerp go straight in. They get the kill, and now Takeshi's in trouble here as you have Kevin coming from the top side, and he's surrounded on all fronts. He's being forced to run into his own jungle. Kerp just doesn't care. In the meantime, bottom lane, we're seeing Dana get right behind Creaton. He goes down to manajj. That's another kill for him, 2 overall. And takeshi is still alive here in middle. He's behind his middle turret, was behind 2 earlier on. And Kevin, he's still in the vicinity to go in for a gank here. takeshi knows that he's backing away, and they're going to just let this middle turret fall for a trade on the bottom.
Yeah, it's actually going to be quite difficult to take though, but they're going under again.
Oh, takeshi, is he going to escape this one? He's between a fish and a crocodile, and he does eventually go down here. But we have Alocs. He's here in the vicinity to stop this one. He has a potential pull on the Kevin. The feast is available for Data. He looks like he's even trying to potentially bait him in, but look at the rest of Millennium. They have a 4-man squad here middle. We still have Manajj pushing bottom right now. He's going to get some good damage onto the turret. Not enough to pick it off just yet, but the rest of CNB are able to hold on to their middle turret as well.
And that means CNB are the ones coming out ahead here. Always worth more for damage on an inner tower than it is for damage on an outer. That is a huge difference between them, because even though I think actually now the outer tower might be slightly more resistant towards attacks, inner tower, much more map control. Nice dodge there by Kerp, and you just get a lot more for your money.
I do have to say, Alocs has really impressed me with the rest of this game. He single-handedly, with the pulls he made happen, gave them the advantage bottom. They have a nice 20 CS lead to Manajj. He has 2 kills, 1 assist. He has the Trinity Force done now, and he's really been pressuring this bottom lane where, you know, Araneae, he said before, it was an ultimate qualifying in the Summer Approach tournament for LCS, saying that Creaton, best AD carry in Europe. The stats haven't really been proven that, unfortunately for him. It did in the summer split, but right now, they are just working him left and right.
You could arguably say an AD carry is only ever as good as their support is.
Ooh, but hit on Jree.
Well, I haven't tried to analyze too much either way. I'm not sure the Zillion pick has actually worked out because of their suffering early on. But in this circumstance, yeah, a guy on like Alex on the Thresh is able to make so many more plays.
I will say this, at least for the Zillion, you can pretty much block that feast, block that nuke that comes down. And I'm currently seeing Dana actually, let's see what he's leveling up here. He actually maxes his E first for the extra damage on the auto attacks, and he's actually going for a silent second, which, you know, pretty much makes sense. And they're looking for Touchy Dragon here, up in about 10 seconds to hook. Ooh, Jree, so close to the Rupture, unfortunately not going to land. They have been able to defend that ping board right now. Not sure for how much longer. We do have Leko pushing the top side. He has ultimate available here, and Dragon is now up. I wouldn't be surprised to see these two teams contested, as we do see the rest of Millennium take down that middle turret. But it's good positioning too.
It's going to be about how carefully CNB can play it, and whether they'll be able to get in. But they're going to rush down the Dragon, because they know Shen is in the top lane.
And there it is, Rupture just going to land on Araneae. This might be really bad for them as we see Dana get caught by the ultimate. See Biz go straight into backside onto takeshi, who actually flashes over it and runs away. But right now, no kills coming in just yet. takeshi's just so damn low. He actually falls to Kevin. Manajj still alive, trying to go for Kerp. He gets taken down by Kerp, but he falls directly after to that Shen. And Dana, he's now going to fall here. Millennium, who have been looking on the brink of a loss for most of this game, have been able to pull back this fight for a 1-for-5 trade. I want to assume as Leko is able to skip over the wall. Even get that barrel a little bit angry, so they get the 4 kills, they get the Dragon off of that, and they get the lead for the first time this game.
They also get the positioning on this inner tower now, so that's going to be another bit of gold in their pockets. They'll be increasing their map control, and you've got to say, a lot of this is now based on the fact CNB made a weird decision there. They were slow to try and contest the Dragon. They could have contested it 5-on-5, but instead what they did was they let Dragon go down, then they allowed themselves to be engaged upon. So they got the worst of both worlds, which is just not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, Kerp, he did a great job of opening that fight up as well, landing that ultimate. I believe that was on a Dana, but it kept him slow long enough for the rest of the team to kind of capitalize off it and pick up the kills. And Manajj, I mean, it's 2-1-2. He has a Triforce and a BF Sword done, but he hasn't really been able to make too many plays off it just yet. Creaton will escape right there, and that will be a middle turret in response by CNB here. And maybe if that hook landed, that might have even been a kill on top of it.
Would have been a risky kill, because they actually do not know where quite a few of the members of Millennium are right now. And Millennium are going to try and hold this, but there's nothing too much they've got for wave clear. But CNB are backing off. I don't understand this call by them, because they know Kerp is in the bot lane. They know if they continue to siege in with Lucian, with their Thresh threat, and with their Gragas barrel threat, they could potentially take that tower. But instead, they're going to just, well, go and try and stop Kerp, even though they're not doing it. I don't.
They basically let that turret fall for free, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate, but CNB, they're not really fancying their chances to 1v1 Kerp, which damn right they shouldn't be able to 1v1 him right now because he has a Lich Bane done, he has an Ace Large Rod, and he should be able to 1v1 anyone, even the tankiest member, Leko, at the moment, over towards that top side. But right now, he's just going to go for that little bit of split pushing with the rest of Millennium, grouping up towards his top side, and they're going to go for this turret here. Dana getting cut out just a little bit here, but they have them start a position. Millennium, CNB is just not here to defend against it. You see the 80 carry support coming in from the bottom side of the map, which allows Kerp to just free push that bottom turret. And if anything, Millennium can just kind of kite this for long enough, as long as they don't get hit by Rupture, for Kerp to pick up this turret down here. Oh, there's the Gragas ulti coming out and the Silence to back it up, but they're able to escape, and with that Zillion speed up, they're not going to get caught by a Rupture. Kerp is going to get this bomb turret down, and CNB, you see them backing away. They realize, crap, we're letting that turret go for free. We didn't even get a kill off of this, and that turret is almost dead.
The Shen team is being split pushed in, and it's because Renekton got far enough ahead of him in the early game that he cannot be ignored in a team fight.
Wait a minute. So they're going to go bottom here. Kerp's still going to get the turret, and in the meantime, they're still going to lose their top turret. They just let 2 turrets fall instead of just only letting 1. That is really a misplay by CNB. They do get the hook on Araneae, but they can't back it up.
Yeah, and these are the kinds of things that separate the really good teams from the really great teams. It's just smart macro decisions. You have to understand what you can do, what your options are, and what you need to do as a result. What gives you the best odds of success? And in this situation, what CNB has been doing has just been hamstringing themselves.
I honestly couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly how I think is going on as well. And it's just really unfortunate because CNB had such a strong start, but they can't really fight against Millennium, who's just so experienced after how many seasons of playing together now and how much time they've been able to do that. It's just so hard to out-team fight an LCS team.
It's very, very difficult indeed. Now that there's, I mean, huge disparities in the gold and quite significant disparities in the scaling in team fight situations, it means that Millennium now have the tools to just force fights wherever and also make sure they win them. Because Shen, this is where Shen versus Renekton matchup goes the worst, is if you are not able to split push at all. You have to stay with the team, because a 4-on-5 dive for Millennium is actually an option.
And they have the damage to burst that person down, even with the Shen ulti coming in from behind that. And right now you're seeing a lot of different items across the board for both teams. We see Leander's actually picked up for Araneae there. See a little bit of extra damage in there, as well as the Ancient Golem. Hook, unfortunately, not going to land onto Kevin, but he runs into that trap right after. In the meantime, Kerp is just like, la-di-da-di-da. I'm going to keep split pushing. Why not? And this allows us to run in to go for engagement. Dana does get caught by the cocoon, but they're just going to back out of that, not force anything just yet. They realize, guys, we're winning the split push war right now. There's no reason to get into a fight that we're not 127.8% confident in. And in the meantime, we're still going to get a lot of chip in. We see Alocs, she gets a pull on Araneae, as well as the play back. Araneae, he's going to get knocked up. He gets taken down instantly. Before the Zen ultimate can do anything, and the rest of the team are chasing him down. The flash out Alocs comes in, but it's just not enough. Jree, so low on life, but he's not going to use ultimate to save himself. He doesn't need to. And CNB, they're like, guys, we need to make something happen. And they went straight in for it, catching Araneae off guard. They're able to pull that one back, as well as keep Kerp off this top turret, but they haven't stopped him just yet. He's still farming away. He has his own he's done, and he's still a major threat against Shen.
This is the break they need, though. They needed to be able to start pushing out some waves to stop that split push pressure from coming in. If they can delay long enough, Shen will be able to 1v1 Renekton. Shen will be able to 1v1 the Fizz. But if things continued as they were, they would have just gotten pushed slowly in. Getting the pick is what they need, but I don't think it's enough to really change it as of yet. And if Millennium can get this engage,
well, Kerp came in from the backside, making this engage happen, but he gets so low! He's in a Sonya's mid-air, the red buff won't be able to kill him, but we see Troy flash over, he gets a Zillion ultimate, he's gonna stay alive, but manajj is getting chased up by Kevin towards the backside, the hook unfortunately not gonna land. manajj should be able to survive this, but no, Kevin gets on top of him, the lantern comes out, but he's staying on top, he's being too fat to allow takeshi to actually get away. The Ignite does come down, Kerp, will he survive this? He's ticking so low, one more, he gets the kill, but it doesn't matter, a 1 for 2 trades so far is not ideal, and Leko gets so lucky. That lantern over the wall keeps it to only a 1 for 2 trade, and Millennium, great turnaround, great awareness by Kerp to just come in from that top side and make that happen.
Goddamn ninja Zillion ults, though. He had a fraction of a second, and I guess he was probably just holding his mouse over and going, Fizz, waiting for the Zhonya to finish in order to get that ultimate down. What are you laughing at?
I don't know what sound that was, but it did not sound like he was trying to spam his ultimate onto Fizz. I'm just going to leave that one there, but we'll move on anyways. 11-8 in favor of Millennium.
Are you having a problem?
45.1 thousand gold to the 39.6k, so Millennium have been able to build up quite a big advantage so far. But you can take a look at CS across the board, is that it's not really in favor of either team. It's just mostly been around these team fights and these objectives control.
Yeah, it's the macro decisions. As I mentioned before, their individual skill, CNB, seems to be really, really good. We're seeing stuff like that Cho'Gath prediction. We're seeing stuff like these thresh hooks that are incredibly good, but they're just not in the right place at the right time, and they're not utilizing the advantages that they have. They're always playing catch up. They're always behind, even when they're ahead.
I really wonder is that does CNB even have the damage to kill anyone anymore before Jree can get that ultimate off, or before Kerp can Zhonya's, or even Playful Trickster away? It's coming to the point where Millennium, like, they know they have full control of the game. They know they're controlling the pace, and CNB, they have to go for something really aggressive to make something happen. I mean, to open up some sort of play. And the thing is, Millennium, look what they're doing. They're just allowing Kerp to keep split pushing nonstop. They don't really care about teamfight anymore unless Kerp's there, which just doesn't need to be right now.
The only moderately competent duelist champion that CNB have is Shen. He is not that good, so he can't push anyone actually back, but he can hold one-on-one versus Renekton or versus Fizz. But the problem is he can only be in one of these places, and that means if you commit, you're forced to commit 2 people to stop whichever of those Shen isn't stopping, and that creates a vacuum. That creates that man gap, essentially, between where you need to put people in order to get, you know, anything done. And that obviously gives Millennium opportunities to start engages in their favor, to make rotations back with the split pushes, and to start fighting in their favor, which is what we've been seeing them do.
And I definitely want to give credit to both these teams right now, because you can see Millennium, they respect CNB. They realize that CNB is a good team, and they're not trying to BBM at all. I mean, they're taking their time. They're not trying to force an engage that isn't there. They're definitely trying to go about this without any mistakes happening, because they don't want to let CNB get back in it. And Millennium, they're allowing Kevin to split push. They're allowing Kerp to split push. They're not even grouping up for fights right now, where they've already proven time and time again that they can win the fights.
It's a lose-lose situation though, because it's so hard to engage on Millennium's, you know, 3-man group, and if they've got that 1-3-1 split push going on, because they're so dodgy, they're so fast with resilient.
No, this is going to be dangerous. See the Rupture come out of day. They actually do spot up. Leko's going to run straight into them, but will he be able to do anything off this? They do get the damage on somebody. Does be able to taunt away and stay alive. And Millennium's a bait right there. Unfortunately, didn't really work out for them. But now, CNB, they have Millennium out of position. They're going to start barreling down middle, it looks like. But this is the exact same time, or exact same position at both these teams, where Kerp came in from the backside and really made that engage happen. But this time, they're being smarter. They're warning up. They're not going to let that happen.
They can't, yes, but at the same time, what they're doing right now is they're allowing Kerp to go back to top lane. They're so scared of that engage happening that they're just not doing anything with the advantage they just got. They were able to force them out of position, and their best odds are a 5-on-5 fight. Either that or turtling like there is no tomorrow. They would have to turtle for, you know, 10, 15 minutes to get themselves back on a par in terms of gold. As a result, now it looks like they may, no, they're not going to get caught there. So they may be able to, I've lost what I was thinking.
Maybe able to turtle a little bit long enough so then they actually can, you know, sustain these fights a little bit better. Maybe stop the split push, which is I think you were going for. But in the meantime, and they're like, all right, well, you know, we'll go for Baron here. They do see the wards there. We have Kerp actually on the sidelines, able to push them out of it. They see Leko bottom lane right now, so they're going to try to go for the burst. But remember, it is a Cho'Gath jungle. They can't really afford to go for it, because that could be taken away from very quickly. We do see him going. He gets stunned up, and because that's stun, he can't actually take it away. And now he's very low in health. That's a nice toss comes in from Leko. Then Creaton actually flashes away from that Rupture, and you're seeing the rest of Millennium go straight into the backlines of CNB, where in the top side, Creaton's just attacking on Shen, not really giving 2 cares about that. And CNB, it looks like they might be able to escape here, but at the stun, that's it goes, the stun onto manajj. And now Alocs, he's going to go down here, it looks like, because Kevin just, it's an unstoppable force. He's a truck. He's going to be able to pick up that kill. They get Baron, they get the 3 kills, and they're going to get a 4th off. And as Kerp pauses Zhonya's mid-playful Trickster right there. And Kevin's even going to start a takeshi, but he should be able to escape this. But at what cost? They're at least going to lose an inhibitor off of this.
Yeah, it's a massive Interesting usage of Zilean ult.
That's actually smart because it gave him a little bit more health than he had when he died or when he was alive. And I wonder if they're gonna be able to push off this. I wonder if they're gonna go for the finish here. And right now, CNB doesn't really have any wave clear minus like Grogs to stop him from doing it. They have the tankiness to survive. It looks like Millennium just gonna play it safe, just gonna back away here and not go for the win. Or not
they've no reason to force it that hard and try and go for the win and potentially lose some ground as a result. As it happens, they can just go back to what they were doing before, except now they have super minions in the mid lane and they can do it even harder, and they have a Baron buff, so their options are even more numerous and CNB is even more limited. But that Baron call was really, really smart because Shen was finally starting to get some ground, so they said, right, we're going to force him to use his ultimate. They would have been happy if they had bursted down the Baron quick enough to get it, even to just disengage from it, because they knew Shen would have to come and deal with them.
And I really like the communication between Millennium, where they realized, all right, guys, Cho'Gath's coming. Kevin instantly just turns around, stuns him, and they just burst it as quick as possible to not allow him to get that stun, or that steal. I mean, if you can't nom it, all you have is that smite, which I think you can't even use if you're stunned anyway.
You can't.
So, oh, you can't, but the nom is the one they're really depending on because it's 1,000 damage, and it's unfortunate, but great job Millennium. Take the Baron, have the middle inhibitor down, and have the ability to keep pushing, just like you're saying. They actually do, in the meantime, go for a dragon here, and I'm not sure they even really needed to at this point because they're up over 10,000 gold now, and they're going to go for that 1-4 split push with Kerp still topside, and I still think he's just so damn strong right now that there's not enough magic resist or enough damage on the side of CNB to send anyone against him to stop it, because manajj, he will just drop instantly. Leko, he can survive for a while, but I think ultimately Kerp will make the push in.
Yeah, and the other thing here is that normally when Shen is in a one-on-one defending against the tower against a superior opponent, he can use his taunt.
As you see right there, Kerp getting taunt under the turret, actually going to commit for this. She does trade off the aggro over to the minions right there, but he's not tanky enough, or doesn't have the damage enough to pick up the kill on Leko. He's got to make something happen here as he uses his zonius to survive that last turret hit coming in from this, but he pulls two, or at least one more man away from that. In the meantime, you're seeing that Millennium take down that turret because of the man engaged that they had to send towards the top side to stop the push. Yeah,
what Shen normally does in a one-on-one, I was going to say, is he taunts someone under the tower. But in that situation, he's against Fizz, and you can't do that reliably.
Araneae does get caught right there, as you see manajj very, very low on life. Actually, Dana being forced to flash away this inhibitor, looking like it's going to fall. The Gragas ultimate doing not really much of anything right there, but they do get Creaton very low, but they do use the Chaos to heal him right back up here. And there's the second inhibitor of the game going down. Araneae is going to be able to walk away from this one, and actually, they can just head towards the top side here. They still have the Baron buff, they still have that regen, and Leko is just trapped between the two armies of Millennium right now.
Yeah, they're getting forced back further and further as time goes by. Kerp's actually going for the kill.
And they do have the rest of the team to back him up. Leko's not going to escape this one. He's going to go down. You can hear Araneae screaming from here. And with those two inhibitors being down with the tankiest man on CNB, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for the finish here momentarily. But they're not really healthy, and Kevin just doesn't care. He just runs straight into the team with that ultimate up, and manajj gets forced completely away. Araneae looks like he actually will fall, but no! Jree with that Zilean ultimate keeps him alive. Now Dana being forced to back away, but they do get the kill, so either way, Dana will fall here. They're looking to clear this one up, but now Creaton has fallen. He's overextended a little bit too much. Kerp is just not healthy enough to join this fight, and now Kevin, it looks like he might even drop here. He's gonna go down, and they pick up those 3 kills for 2 deaths. They defend against it, but they still have those 2 inhibitors being down, so the fight's not over just yet.
You can hear how little that actually matters in the grand scheme of things from the muted response of the crowd. I'm afraid at this point CNB would need a miracle. They'd need several fights like that, except better in their favor, in order to come out on top in this game overall. So yes, that is an advantage. Yes, it's going to delay the inevitable, but it's still more or less inevitable.
CNB, they're definitely trying to keep their hopes alive. At least, if anything, look at what they can do differently into this next game, since they are obviously in a best of 3 here. And I want to give credit, though, to CNB. They've been holding on. They haven't given up. They haven't gotten too down on themselves. And with this Baron coming up, like, this could be exactly what they need to turn it around. But those super minions just flooding in from 2 different lanes. It's causing quite a problem. But luckily for them, they do have a Gragas at least to help clear that up quickly. But I would say with that minute 40 remaining, we need to start seeing them push up some lanes before they go for that Baron.
It's so difficult. They're in a lose-lose-lose situation right now because they can commit people to try and stop the creep waves, which gives Millennium a big advantage if they're sieging anywhere else on the map, including Baron. They could try and go for the Baron themselves, rush it down, but then they'll get caught in a fight, and they'll probably lose that fight because of the gold difference and because Kerp is so strong. or they can continue to try and turtle it in. And because Caitlyn is so incredibly good at sieging, because Elise is so capable of tanking towers, they're going to get slowly, gradually pushed in. It's, yeah, not a good situation.
It's not looking for good for CNB at all here, but here we go. Millennium going for their next inhibitor that has respawn over here in the middle, and you can see Araneae's pushed up very, very aggressively towards the top side, and he's not really too afraid to get pushed up that far. Kuma's out, miss on a takeshi here, and Kerp, he's eventually going to get this top turret down if no one defends against him. They're sending the man Shen over there to do it. And Dana not going to land that rupture. They really needs to open this one up, but I want to see, can they land a rupture that they need onto the back line? Can they burst sword down quickly enough? They do get it onto Araneae this time, but you can just see the damage trade that's going on. It's completely in Millennium's favor, and Kerp, he's actually going for a dive on this top side. He gets the kill on a Leko 1v1 right there, and that forces a 5-on-4 fight if they want to make it happen. Kerp could probably just group up here. They can go for the push. There has to be a final stand out of CNB, and they're just not making it happen. The flash comes out, but it's just not going to be enough. You can see Jree get knocked completely away, and those Spiderlings getting hooked up here. Millennium just going for the by-the-book win here, going for that last inhibitor turret. CNB not really able to hold on to it, and it looks like they might even back away off of this.
No, actually, maybe not. CNB have now used all of their kind of cursory attempts to engage there. You saw Gragas throwing his ult up because he thought Jree maybe would make a mistake, move too close to the tower. And they really tried to find an engage that maybe they could win even 10% chance. But they just couldn't find it because Millennium is too far ahead because they were playing it too cautiously. And now it's going to be a Baron buff as well, which I actually don't particularly like out of Millennium because maybe Cho'Gath could get this. I doubt they have the exact timer on his flash.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be up for that one. So Millennium will be to lock down the second Baron of the game. And what's kind of funny is this is one of the longer games we've had today. Out of all the two best of threes we've done so far. Actually, just shows the caliber of CNB able to hold on for this long.
Yeah, they're one of my, I mean, I sort of vaguely ranked them before I came out here. They were one of my favorites to do well here, but I didn't look at the brackets because I'm an idiot.
It happens to the best of us, don't worry. But
well,
still, I mean,
idiot.
they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job though of at least keeping up with Millennium. The game's not over just yet. It's not, the fate hasn't been sealed in either way so far, but Millennium are looking to turn the tides of that here momentarily. It looks like they're going to start rooted up here, start going for that final push. As you can see, just quickly walks through the items that you see built up between both these teams, because Millennium are just basically one, if not two, completed items ahead of their opponents.
Yeah, that is a massive difference between them. And it's shown in the fact that Fizz is capable of not merely 1v1ing, but solo killing under a tower against a Shen. I mean, Shen is known as one of the strongest 1v1 duelists in the game. He's normally just too tanky to really damage, and he chips you down. Kerp is doing so much damage and is able to just jump out so easily. There's nothing Shen can do against it. And if he gets low, obviously he loses his life to the ultimate. And if he doesn't get low, well, then the stuff gets a siege.
Yeah, he's still split pushing, but we do see Alocs be the first one to drop here, and they're just focusing them one by one. Manajj, he's going to go down here, Creaton the backside. Actually, he get very low, but he got the ultimate out of zone. He's going to heal up with that Bloodthirster. He does get taunted up, and he actually might drop here, but no, the kills! It keeps him alive. Creaton doesn't fall. He's able to survive through that with the Bloodthirster. Now Kerp diving in straight for Dana here. He gets very low, pops his own. He has to see the cocoon, and even lands behind that. Dana forced to go back to the base. The first Nexus turret falls. The second one's going to fall as well. And Millennium, after 41 minutes, are finally going to close out the first game here in this best of three between them and CNB.
I mean, it all came down to the macro decisions. This is what I was talking about in the game, because CNB were always on the back foot, even though they never, well, okay, never. They didn't necessarily need to be. Millennium did have a very smart strategy planned out, and they took advantage of how snowballed Kerp was very, very effectively. But even so, it wasn't an unbeatable style.
And if you saw Araneae on your screen right there, and all of Millennium, they did not look satisfied with that victory. They didn't look happy at all. I think that definitely didn't go the way they wanted it to happen throughout the entire bit. They were just behind for the first 10-15 minutes because CNB just did so damn well early on. It looks like they're going to take a quick break as well. And you know, we can look at the scores real quick. 8-1-8 for Kevin. He wasn't really involved. Or I don't want to say he wasn't involved, but he wasn't really focused. He wasn't like, he didn't stand out for his team. Let's just say that. I finally got the words in my head. He didn't really stand out, but his team play just did so well because in the laning phase, it was just so quiet.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, he was just slowly building an advantage on Shen, making sure Shen never really got off the ground, and that was what then led to Kerp being able to push him around. That was what led to the split pushing, which slowly took away objectives. It was a subtle victory, essentially, from Kevin in the top lane. But the other lanes, if he hadn't been doing well, CNB might have snowballed enough to end up actually taking the game. Like, if Shen had actually, you know, been able to push Renekton back one-on-one, could have been completely different.
All right, well.